All right. Thanks for coming. It is Friday afternoon, and, we got places to go, video games to play, clubs to get to, Taylor Swift, whatever. I'm Guy Solo today after going to the Niners' third practice today down at Levi Stadium. No fans today, so there were no fan videos getting out today. Whole place is in lockdown because Taylor Swift's concert is Friday night, and I think that's about as big as it gets. It feels that's about as big as it gets at Levi Stadium today. They gave us special parking passes to come to practice today. That lot, the yellow lot where those passes let us park just for practice, are selling for over $800 right now on the internet. So, interesting stuff happened today with the quarterbacks and for the 49ers. And I'm going to tell you about it. Some stuff to react to, and you can get some questions in if you want to do that as well. If you're here on YouTube, great. Thank you. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. The data has not changed. Half of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. Would definitely love to have the honor of your subscription. And we appreciate that. If you're listening to the podcast, that's great. If you feel like watching it, cool. There are some video elements to this from practice that I'll show on the YouTube. So if you want to check that out, do so. The YouTube link is in the description of the podcast, the audio version of this pod. You can subscribe or you can review on Apple Podcast. We appreciate that. Breaking news from me. I stayed for the whole practice today. I reported to you yesterday I was not going to stay for the whole 49ers practice because I had a haircut to get to and hashtag self-care priorities. But unfortunately, we've got a soft tissue injury in the foot of my barber. So get well soon, lads. Pick up basketball has put him on the shelf. And so my haircut's going to have to wait. I'm not at the point yet where I will be going somewhere else for a cut because that's my guy. And I've got a 4-year contract with my barber. So there's the latest there. All right, let's get into it. Here we go. The way I wanted to start this, I'm going to break through the good and the bad from the quarterbacks today. Then I'll tell you what order I think they are in after 3 practices. And then we can hit a few of the other things going on. And if you have some questions and we have some time for that, we can get to that. So I'm going to start with Brock Purdy. It was his second practice. This is the oh, you know what? Let me see this one real quick for those of you watching. Give me some feedback because yesterday I ran some video with audio, and I think that screwed up the audio. I'm not going to keep it like this, but just tell me, does this, for those of you, just quick comments, does this make the audio, does this disrupt the quality of the audio, or does it still sound good? Just tell me that, and I'll get back to some video here in a little bit. All right. Question: why does a hairstylist need a foot? Because he's got to stand. But great question. Audio sounds good. Good. Okay. All right. Brock Purdy. I have a little system that I've established in addition to telling you what's going to happen. I keep notes of a couple things. You know that I already during games are very aware of WAOs. Those are wide ass open throws. Kyle Shanahan gets a lot of wide ass open throws. And, I think part of the way to watch the quarterbacks is with this comment from Brandon Allen in mind. This is from Matt Mayoko's story on Friday. This is very important to keep in mind as we go through this today. Brandon Allen said, if you can play within the system and use the talent around you, those are the biggest things. The offense is designed to get guys open. So your biggest job is to put the ball where it needs to go against the right coverage and accuracy. Okay. If you can play within the system, use the talent around you, your biggest job is to put the ball where it needs to go against the right coverage with accuracy. That's a critical part of how we evaluate Kyle Shanahan quarterbacks because I keep track of a few things. One of them, some call it Habermetrics, some call it GAF, Guy Football Focus, throws above replacement, TAR. How many throws does a guy make that are not a replacement level throw? In other words, any other quarterback could make that throw. I tracked those today. What's relevant from what Brandon Allen says is it's not really what's critical to Kyle Shanahan, right? Extraordinary throws is not what is, Brandon Allen just told us, extraordinary throws is not what is ultimately most required by 49ers quarterbacks. So just keep that in mind. Here we go. Brock Purdy. I gave him 2.5 throws above replacement today. One was actually not a spectacular throw, but I'm starting with the good. He made a throw on a quick dump down, very muddy pocket. It looked like he got hit or his arm got hit, and he had to throw from up and over offensive lineman down, tight angle. Good decision, great execution, just a dump down to a running back. That's one of those, the old saying, like Frank Gore may not have the most 8-yard or 7-yard carries, but he's going to take the most no gainers and turn them into 1 or 2 yards. And that to me had really high potential play to be a no gainer or a sack. And Brock Purdy got rid of the ball, and it was a positive play. He made a really quick progression throw to Christian McCaffrey. He was not the primary read. He went boom, 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 got it to McCaffrey quickly. This is, the pocket is these quarterbacks are under duress. Now, they're obviously not getting hit, but the defense has performed well in the first 3 practices. And because Fred Warner is out there, it makes any throw in the middle of the field when he's out there risky. And you've got to be accurate and you've got to be quick. And so McCaffrey was able to receive the ball from Purdy just before Fred Warner got there. And it had to be perfect throw. It had to be on zip. And it was. So there you go. He had another play on he had a front side blitz coming from Isaiah Oliver. And I don't know if he saw him. I think he did. His vision was left. And he, again, got the ball out quickly, on time, on target, with zip to Brandon Ayuk. Had a really nice kind of tight laser throw to McCaffrey. I think one thing even good, high-quality practice video does not show is sometimes it doesn't show velocity, doesn't show how it'll show you a spiral, but it doesn't show you how crisp a throw is. And he made a really crisp throw to McCaffrey. His arm looked just as good in Friday's practice as it did in Thursday's practice. And I think his best throw, and maybe the best throw of practice, and this definitely was a throw above replacement. I gave him a full throw above replacement for this, a 22-yard play to Debo. It was one of your classic Debo routes. Debo looping across the middle of the field from right to left. And he had Diamador Lenore in good coverage right on him, a couple defenders right in front of him. It was a very tight window throw. It was a little on Debo's back shoulder. It kind of had to be because of the defenders that were, 5-8 yards in front of Debo, they were on that side, so he couldn't lead him too much. But he had Lenore behind him, so he couldn't leave it behind him too much. Beautiful throw, classic Debo route, classic Debo catch. And it was a display of Brock Purdy's arm being 100%. Bad. Here's a few things that stood out. Missed throws from Brock. Missed Ayuk on the sideline after he'd beaten Ambry Thomas. Ayuk was 15 yards cutting back to the sideline, and the ball just led him out of bounds too much. Ayuk ultimately caught the ball, but was unable to get both feet. Maybe in a game he tries to drag and is willing to fall flat on his face in that spot, but it was going to be a tough play. I don't think you'd qualify not an awful throw, not a good throw, because it was an incompletion and it didn't keep Ayuk in the field of play. And then, one throw, I don't know. This one, you'd have to know what he was supposed to do. There's a lot of factors here, but I'm mentioning this play because maybe someone else is mentioning it. He almost threw an interception to Isaiah Oliver. It was a nothing play to me. It was a sack is what it was. And he probably gets out of the pocket on that play and just runs. It looked like, the play effectively ends from a pass rush standpoint. And Brock kind of said, screw it, I'll throw it here. And it almost got intercepted, but he probably would have vacated the bowels of the pocket by then. Gregus Khan asked, would you say Purdy's velocity hovers around 52? I don't know what his velocity is from a football standpoint. If we were going to give it a baseball equivalent, which I'm more comfortable doing, I would say he's throwing, if Kaepernick's throwing 103, that's always kind of the bar. I'd say Purdy's throwing, low 90s, more than sufficient enough, as long as it's accurate. All right, on to Trey Lance. Before I give you these ranks, Trey Lance, no crowd today, so a little less juice today. Not as much bounce today, I thought, from Trey. As I said yesterday, it's crowded out there. It's really crowded from a quarterback standpoint. It's apparent when you watch how crowded it is. And, I don't know. Trey watched him talk afterwards. He said none of that stuff's in his mind. He's just focused. And he had a good disposition, Trey did, in his post-practice press conference. All right. Trey throws. Good. Really nice throw over the middle to Tay Martin, about a 15-yard throw. A lot of, I think almost everything was a spiral today. I don't remember any throw from Trey that wasn't quote unquote pretty. But we'll get to some of the bad. But really nice throw to Tay Martin over the middle. Didn't look like he was throwing it too hard. He had on the far side of the field in the middle of practice. I don't know how many people saw this throw. But he had I'm giving him a throw above replacement for one practice for a throw in a drill. I didn't think I'd give anybody a throw above replacement grade for a throw in a drill, but this was a drill where the quarterbacks drop back, roll out with a really deep roll, and throw on the run to the far sideline. So, it's the kind of play that ends up being maybe a 15-yard gain if you hit the receiver, but the ball is going to travel probably 25 yard, maybe air yards, just in terms of yardage, not even counting the added space because you're throwing it a long way to the sideline. This was not a receiver per se. This was a staff member who's just standing there. But first of all, the throw was really good. It was high velocity. It was on point. It was in his stride, in rhythm, and it was perfectly thrown to the sideline. Part of what made it look so good is Darnold went next in that drill and missed badly on the very same throw. It's a tough throw. It was outside and low, and again, tough throw. But seeing Darnold attempt the same throw right after Lance did, for me, illustrated, kind of just put on a pedestal how good Trey's throw was there. He threw a nice ball on an incompletion. And I said this yesterday, incompletions and completions are not created equal. Not all of them are created equal. You can have a nice ball on a ball that gets that doesn't get caught. You can throw a ball that you don't really get a lot of credit for that does get caught. So that's why I like to go through these, give a little context. He threw a really nice deep ball to Tay Martin. Again, Tay Martin seems to get open on go balls more than anybody. Remember in practice number 1, Brandon Allen missed him badly on a wide open go ball. Now, keep in mind, he's not going up against the number 1 corners, but he gets more separation on go balls than anybody else in the first 3 days of practice, I would say. Certainly more than, Danny Gray got separation yesterday or 2 days ago. Anyway, this was not a completed pass to Tay Martin. Part of it was he got bumped right at the end. Nice little move, kind of just a little forearm from the DB to bump him off stride. Wasn't a special throw. Did not give it a throw above replacement grade, but it was a good throw. It was a pretty throw. It looked good. And that throw is going to be relevant here in a second. I'll get back to that throw. The bad for Trey today was bad. And it was 2 throws. And you might say, well, 2 throws, who cares? 2 throws in a practice. 2 throws in a practice where all these guys get about equal reps. And remember what we just looked at, that quote from Brandon Allen. What did Brandon Allen say? It's about, paraphrasing, it's about the layups. It's about what I call the POA throws, POAs, price of admission. In other words, this is the throw that is the price of admission to being Kyle Shanahan's quarterback. Okay, you got to make these throws. Doesn't make you great, doesn't make you special, doesn't get you a contract extension, but it's the price of admission for being Kyle's quarterback, and that's why these 2 were not great. Same as yesterday, rolling to, this is in team session, 11 on 11, rolling to his right, getting out of pressure, quick throw to the tight end, number 9, Braden Willis, one of the rookies from Oklahoma. Not even close. At his feet, layup throw, missed the same exact throw yesterday. Same thing happened with Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason coming out of the backfield. Lance rolling to his right. Missed him badly. It was a worse miss than the Braden Willis miss. Not even close to catchable. Trey's body language afterwards was not great. It's sometimes I think I love being body language doctor. you can overanalyze. Was he just saying, I'm mad at myself and I'm moving on, or was he getting down on himself? He said after practice, not getting down on himself. But you got to know there's only so many of these reps to go around, and the price of admission throws are the baseline for Kyle Shanahan. Like, Kyle would take 2 price of admission throws over 1 throw above replacement. He doesn't care as much about the throws above replacement. In his mind, he'll get you the guy wide open, hit him between the numbers. And, you know, with this team, like, there are going to be a lot of balls thrown around the line of scrimmage. There's going to be a lot of balls thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Deebo Samuel last year, 78% of his targets came within 10 yards or behind the line of scrimmage. Okay, those are by and large going to be price of admission throws. And Trey missed 2, quote unquote, really easy ones today. On to Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, I said, keep in mind, I said after practice number 1 and after OTAs. Let's just reset this. We got some new people here. After OTAs and after practice number 1, I thought Darnold was no better than Trey, and I saw no reason for Darnold, just based on what we saw, to be ahead of Trey on the depth chart. Darnold had the best day, I thought, on Thursday. Darnold had at least the best day today, if not as good a day as Brock Purdy today. He had a very, very good throw up the seam to Elijah Mitchell. Mitchell was coming out of the backfield. Linebacker Curtis Robinson was on him and right on him. It's the kind of ball you usually see to Kittle up the seam with a guy on his back. And this ball was perfectly placed. It was, in comparison, I'd say it was one of the 3 throws of the day, one of them being the Brock Purdy ball to Deebo for 22 yards I mentioned earlier. This throw to Elijah Mitchell from Darnold was perfect. The other throw he made, I gave him 1.5 throws above replacement today, but he could have probably had 2 or 2.5. I put this in if you've ever seen when you go to a baseball game, a Major League Baseball game, and you see a hard hit ball, backhand to the shortstop, backhand, quick turn to second, runner coming down on him, he takes it, bullet throw to first. And it's just, there are things that happen at the high professional levels that don't happen at the other levels. And Sam Darnold and Juwan Jennings made a play like that today. Was it a perfectly thrown ball to Juwan Jennings over the middle, like chest high? No, it was high. Jennings went up with one hand, but it was not so high that I would call it not a great throw. It was a good throw. It was a bullet. You know who in this case, like, he had a throw to Willie Snead. It was an incompletion. Was it too high? Was it a bad throw? Was it the wrong decision? I don't know, but it was to Willie Snead. You can't miss high. Juwan Jennings, you can put it a little higher. Jennings goes up, one-hand catch, takes off running. It was just a high level professional play. And then he had a couple other just kind of, price of admission throws. Pressure rolling out. He escapes, throws a bullet to Jordan Mason. He had a deep ball down the left sideline to Ray McLeod. Very good coverage. Ultimately is what caused the incompletion. Samuel Womack. Someone said to me the other day, Guy, they saw my board. I'm holding up my board here. They said, all your notes are on the offensive side. Why don't you take any notes on the defensive side? I said, I do. On the offensive side is where some of the defenders get their love from me. So anyway, Samuel, was it an underthrow? If you said, could we perfectly throw this better? Sam would say, yeah, I could lead him a little more. But it was a really good ball. It gave Ray McLeod a shot. Womack was right there. Tough play. If you got a good receiver, you got a good throw, you got a good DB, someone's going to win, someone's going to lose. Samuel Womack won, but I thought it was a good throw. Gave his guy a shot. Bad throw. He had Deebo coming to the near sideline. He had Deebo coming to his right. A little bit of pressure, but he threw it too high. Deebo was getting good coverage from the undrafted rookie from Texas, Deshaun Jameson. But incomplete, not a good throw. Brandon Allen threw a ball too high to Juwan Jennings over the middle. Had him. Missed him. Jennings will be one of those, claps his hands. I should have had it. I don't think he should have. But it was just a little too high, so he missed him. And he threw a ball behind Danny Gray when Danny Gray was open. And, Danny Gray wants that because Danny Gray just doesn't get a lot of chances. So after today, Brock Purdy won, we know. After first practice, I said Trey was better than Darnold in that practice. Darnold's been better than Trey now 2 practices in a row. And it's not because Sam's making extraordinary plays. He's making very good to solid plays. And Lance today, in team drills, did not make a throw above replacement and had 2 mistakes that, again, we go back to what Brandon Allen said were bad mistakes. So what does this all mean? Well, look at what Matt Mayoko posted again. He's been posting the snap counts. And let's talk about what this means. Brock Purdy got 21 reps. Trey Lance got 11 reps. Sam Darnold got 10 reps. Brandon Allen got 9 reps. Where's the competition there? Well, clearly there's not a competition for number 1, but it's clear when you look at the rep counts that the competition is between 3 quarterbacks here. It's not between 2 quarterbacks. The competition is not for number 2. Well, let me rephrase that. There is a competition for number 2, Darnold and Lance. There is a competition for number 3. And right now, based on the last 2 days, that is Trey Lance and Brandon Allen. So, as somebody, I really emphasize this, as somebody who has given the benefit of the doubt to Trey and still has, there is still time to watch this play out. But Brandon Allen getting basically as many reps as Sam Darnold and Trey Lance is telling. That's telling. So, you just, you can't deny what is there in hard numbers. And what's there in hard numbers is that Brandon Allen is part of the competition. There's no way to deny that. Now, that said, I will say the Trey misses on those layup throws hurt him. But I think he's been better than Brandon Allen. But there's going to be time here to see this play out. Part of it is Brandon Allen is not, to this, just what we've seen in these practices, not a very good thrower of the deep ball. He misses on deep throws. Trey is much more accurate on the deep throws from what we've seen in 3 practices. And not only has Brandon Allen missed on a few deep balls, he misses in places that are not even close to giving his receiver a chance. But as he said, he's here to make layups. So, we'll see. Something to keep watching there. Okay, I just want to show you a couple things. This is not quarterback related. We can get to some quarterback things. But yesterday, we went through a few. There was a play that occurred during drills where Danny Gray got a bad throw from Purdy. There was some debate. Was it a good throw? Was it a bad throw? Should he have caught it? Should he not have caught it? I thought it was a bad throw, and he should, not be happy with himself for not catching it. So here's a few balls today. For those of you listening to this, we'll get this. This won't be long video. So I think if you just, if you're listening and you don't want to hear me watch a video, skip ahead to 60 seconds. We'll get through it. There's Debo and Ayuk. And now here comes Danny Gray. Danny Gray is on the near side. And here's a ball right on him. And it glances off his hands. Again, got to be consistent. Danny Gray practices hard. Danny Gray is faster than everybody else out there. Danny Gray has a skill set that the Niners could use as a complementary piece to the skill guys they have, but he consistently misses that ball. It's 2 days. Now, does this mean anything? It's one drill. It's one rep. If I could show you all of practice, I'd show you some other plays that Danny Gray made that were good. I'm actually going to show you one in a second, but you can only film 4 periods of practice, and this is one of those periods, and now 2 periods in a row, he's had a chance to make a play during that period and hasn't made it. Ronnie Bell. We get asked about Ronnie Bell a lot, the rookie wide receiver from Michigan. Here's Ronnie Bell. Same thing. Drop. Same drill. Over the middle. On air. Got to catch it. Got to have it. Got to have it. I thought he struggled with this in OTAs. He stumbles out of the break here. Maybe that's part of it. But got to have it. One other play, because this was good. This was Danny Gray got another shot here to make a play later, and he made it. And that's a nice catch. He's to the right of he's at the inside receiver. He's taking a ball from Trey here. A little high, right? Not a bad throw, but again, here is an opportunity. If you're a receiver, you don't want perfect throws when you're trying to prove yourself. You want a throw that's going to show people you can make catches above replacement. Danny hasn't made catches above replacement. This is a good catch. This is not a perfect throw. In stride, good catch. Nice job on that one, Danny Gray. All right. Quarterback stuff. They got too many, right? They got 4. Brandon Allen's around because Kyle Shanahan said you don't get rid of players that you like. So something is going to have to give here. There is a competition going on here. Brandon Allen is part of that competition. And I don't know what that means. Does that mean you hold on to all of them as long as you can? That's what it means to me. Hold on to all 4 of them as long as you can. I'm not giving away Trey Lance. I'm not just cutting Trey Lance. I'm not just cutting Brandon Allen. I'm not doing anything until I absolutely have to. And because of Trey Lance's skill set, in theory, he's going to be a guy in a game that maybe makes a play that doesn't show up in practice. But, we're not talking about the starting quarterback here. We're not talking about 3 years to develop Josh Allen here. We're talking about price of admission throws. And if there's a value for him, then there's a value for him. And part of the calculation for the Niners is going to be, if we can't keep all 4, is there one of them we're going to get value for? If we view 2 and 3 as equal, or if you view 3 and 4 as equal, which one has more value on the market, if any? It's a real story. I know some people want to deny that it's a story. It is unemotional. It is in black and white right here in the rep counts. It's right there for you. Okay, there's not a debate about it. 11 snaps for Trey, 10 for Darnold, 9 for Brandon Allen. There is nothing to debate. So that's real. It's something to watch. And, I still have Trey ahead of Brandon Allen. And he's still in competition with Sam. And he can continue to compete with Sam. There are things that Darnold's done that looks really good. But I think we've watched him play games, and let's see him in preseason games. Can he do the things that look tight and clean in a practice in a game? Does he get rid of the ball quickly? It's not over. Long way to go. But as someone who has leaned Trey Lance after OTAs, I've got to admit, there's a real competition happening here. And that includes Brandon Allen. And in the competition with Sam Darnold, the last 2 days, Darnold has had the edge. That's that on quarterbacks. I'm just going to go through my board here and just see any other. He and anytime Brock gets a chance to throw to Debo or Ayuk, it's great because he just hasn't had a lot of reps with those guys. People say today, Tayshaun Gibson, maybe it was Trey Lance, said Brandon Ayuk's catching everything. This is like the 3rd camp in a row where Brandon Ayuk looks fantastic. Debo also looks good, but Brandon Ayuk makes just a ton of catches that are hard for everybody else. First snap of team period. There was some question about Christian McCaffrey. First snap of team period. McCaffrey takes the ball. Fred hits him. Fred Warner hits him out of bounds. Not too hard. They collide a little, but it was a nice little pop. Ty Davis Price got the second snap with the first team offense. McCaffrey went first. Ty Davis Price went second. Elijah Mitchell looks fresh. All the running backs look good. I was talking to Larry Krueger about this. They all look fit. And Larry's like, well, maybe it's because they don't have their pads on yet. They just all look cut. Jack Coletto, the Swiss Army knife, they hope maybe he can be the next Kyle Juszczyk or complimentary. They split him out a little. He had a nice, there was a fumbled exchange today, and Coletto jumped on it but didn't dive on it, which was smart. You don't want to dive around in a practice. You don't want to dive. I thought it was really smart. In a game, he might have dove on it. The teaching tip might be dive on it. He scooped it up. But to me, it was impressive, and I'd be curious if we talked to Jack Coletto about it. I think he didn't dive on it because he was smart enough to not dive at the feet of the offensive and defensive linemen in a practice. You don't want to roll somebody up. That's what I think Jack Coletto did. I think in a game he falls on it. In this spot, he picked it up. Heady play, smart guy, Oregon State, Jonathan Smith, Beaver, just tough worker, all that stuff. Jake Moody, 6 of 6 today. Absolutely kills the ball. His kicks with a tailwind, good from 33. There was a missed kick, but it wasn't really a miss. It was a bad snap and hold. Wishnowski was back holding today, so Juice got off that duty. 33 yards good, 38 yards good, 43 yards good, 38, 38, and 50 yards, all good, 6 of 6. The 50-yarder, I don't know, a lot of these balls that Moody kicks with a tailwind would be good from 63 yards. I don't know if the one he actually made from 50, it's one thing to kick a 33 yarder that looks like it'd be good from 60 because you only got to make it accurately 33. When it's got to go accurately 50, now you give it more oomph. And even though it travels 63, you're trying to kick it that far. And so you might lose some accuracy. That kick did not come off. It did not look as clean, but it was still good. It maybe had a little bit of a hook to it, but it was still good. Defense looks aggressive. Deshaun Gibson looks aggressive. Deshaun Gibson said nobody plays safety like Talanoa Hufanga. He said that today. He also said nobody knows the defense better than Talanoa Hufanga except Fred Warner. So Gibson said Diamador Lenore is taking his game to the next level. All right. So there's a rundown. We could sit here and talk about everything I said about the quarterbacks for a while longer, but I think the thing to know is from your unbiased boy here that, yeah, it's real. The Darnold being the number 2 quarterback, that's real. Does Kyle Shanahan one day think Darnold could be a starter? Maybe. And could Brandon Allen end up as the 3rd quarterback on this team? Yeah, he could. All right. Let's get to some comments here. Did not mean to put that one on. What do we got? Wheelie, are you guys only going to talk about the Niners? No, but today I went to Niner practice, and so that's what I felt like that is what I can add to you. That is not, there's a lot of people doing the content, but it's not everywhere all the time. So, Matthew, Trey was 2 of 5, or how were his throws? I'm guessing, Matthew, you were not watching earlier, maybe just jumped in live, which is fine. Just go back. I went through kind of all the throws. For my purposes, I do not. I like knowing how many reps they got in team relative to each other. I do not. I'm not going to say I don't care at all about their accuracy numbers, because over the course of a month, that stuff does matter. But day to day, don't care. He had some bad throws, right? So like he could have been 3 of 5. Let's say 2 of his misses. He had 2 really bad. He had the 2 worst misses of practice today. So, but go back and I dive into that a little later. Lenore's playing confident, says the comment. Lenore is right there a lot. The question I have for him is, when he's right there to make a play, does he make the play on the ball? He often, rarely does it feel like Lenore's guy is 2 or 3 yards by him, but he's there. He's got to make plays on the ball. I think a little more. We haven't seen as much of that. Abraham says, shake my head. Everything invested in Trey, and he's fighting for the 3rd spot. What is going on here? Trock says, you are right. Sell the one with trade value. Time to win is now. It's a business. Smart business decisions have to be made. To be clear, I am not saying get rid of anybody right now. This team has, as I said yesterday, a storied history. Well, they had a storied quarterback era, and now we're in the era of storied quarterback injuries. They have a storied quarterback injury history, and I would keep everybody as long as possible. So, just, yeah, something to watch for. It's real. Robbie asks, speaking of body language, how do the quarterbacks carry themselves? Does Purdy or Trey or Sam look like the starter to you? Well, Brock is the starter. So he's the starter. I thought, I think Sam is interesting. I'd say, you think about him, went to SC, drafted very highly, 3rd overall, not just anywhere, but in the New York market. He has a very, and this is a compliment given the amount of spotlight that's been on him, kind of unassuming way about him. He's not meek. It's not that. He is, but he is not, it's just, he moves. Yeah, he's unassuming. He's not out there. He's not got good body language, but he's not really making any gestures. He's just going about his business. I think the quarterback the one thing I've noticed collectively as a group, the quarterbacks are often communicating. There's not one guy standing off to the side. A lot of fist pounding, a lot of high fiving, a lot of encouraging. When they jog from drill to drill, it's not 4 guys individually jogging with their head down. They're talking to each other. So as a collective, they've got, I think, pretty good body language, considering it's so bizarre when you watch this plenty of teams have had 3 or 4 quarterbacks, but when you have 3 or 4, in this case, 4 quarterbacks, 3 of them splitting reps, 3 of them, the two guys who are the 2 guys with really good arm talent, or strong arms in English. That's the part that really is weird. So it's a weird situation, and it looks like they're all handling it really well. I said on day 1, I thought Trey had excellent body language. I thought on day 2, he had some pop to him. Today, maybe it's just there's a lot going on, and it was a little hotter today, but Tommy says, is Trey practicing running between the tackles yet? This is the other thing. And Kawakami pointed this out to me yesterday when I was standing next to him. He said, how many zone reads do you see? The answer is none. Trey did break out today. No design runs for the quarterbacks. He did break out today when the pocket broke down and ran. And, the stuff about Trey being less athletic than the staff expected, as I've said, I think he has not in games been as comfortable a runner as I expected. But when Trey runs, it's clear he is more than athletic enough to get to the sideline before he gets hit by a linebacker, to get to a first down, all that kind of stuff. He's got more than enough. So Sam's disposition has always struck me as easy going and down to earth, not too high, not too low. Yeah, I think that's accurate. AK-49er says the ideal Shanahan quarterback: 1, gets the ball out quick; 2, over 65% accuracy; 3, protects the football; 4, has mobility to run bootlegs. Brock fits the profile perfectly. Yeah. Trey looked unhappy in his presser, kind of defeated or unhappy. I don't blame him, to be honest. It's a little sad. I was sitting there. I didn't feel that way. But I don't know, man. Hard to say. Question: any free agents you could see the Niners signing? And then somebody responds, Justin Houston. When I watch this team practice, I don't see the need for it. They've got Javon Hargrave on $40 million guaranteed. They've got Eric Armstead, whose cap hit this year is $23 million, second largest on the team. And they got Nick Bosa, who is going to become one of the, if not the highest non-paid quarterback, one of the, if not the highest non-paid quarterback in the NFL. I don't really see the need for another pass rusher. Cleveland Farrell's professional enough. Drake Jackson is an ascending talent who is in good shape. You have a good line. You have a good developer in Chris Kasarik. I would not. I wouldn't spend really anything on another pass rusher, to be honest. I don't really see the point of it. They don't need safeties. They got good safeties. They got like 4. They don't need nickels. They don't need corners. I mean, they do need corner depth, but potentially so does everybody. But maybe I could see Samuel Womack getting ahead of Ambry Thomas there. So no, I don't see a free agent that they need. Their offensive line is set. The running backs are deep. Not going to be a receiver. Not going to be a tight end. So I don't really see the need. I mean, it's Trent and Banks and Brendel and Burford and McKivitz on the offensive line. So I don't think they need it. I wouldn't spend any money on another pass rusher. I know that comes up a lot, but plus you can carry over the free cap space. Jedi says Luter will push him out. Darrell Luter. He has not practiced. He's coming off that hyperextended knee from the last OTA practice. So, how is right tackle looking? I don't know. The pads will come on, I think, Monday, and then we'll see Colton McKivitz against Drake Jackson a lot. And then it'll matter. And then they're going to go practice against the Raiders, and we'll get to see a lot of Colton McKivitz. But that's what I expect to see is Colton McKivitz. And, like I said, no pads yet. So nothing really to see there yet, I don't think, other than, Trent Williams running around, which is fun. Okay. I think that's what we got for today. Thanks for hanging.
Monday. Pads come on. So that'll be a good day. And we'll keep this little quarterback thing going. Obviously, that's not going anywhere, but you can remove the hype of it and recognize that it's a very real story. So if you're here and you didn't hit that like button yet, which I know some of you didn't, maybe you didn't like it. Out of spite, give me a spite like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for that. And if you only caught some of this and you're about to head out, it'll be up on the podcast feed soon. Or if you're watching it, listening to it and you want to see some of it, YouTube. And that's what we got. All right, everybody. Have a good weekend. Thanks for hanging. Appreciate y'all. Later.